What's up, everybody, and welcome to the TNR Sports Show, the TNR Sports Show. I would like to thank everybody for coming here. One of us is very happy. One of us was depressed. One of us is super happy, horns down, boom. One of us wants to cry. I broke multiple items in my home yesterday. Ryan probably broke multiple items in his home during the first half. He came back in the second half and repaired those items. Mine are still broken.
I was just preparing as we went. Yeah.
So we got a little recap episode here for you today. I hope you all enjoy. Sad. I don't even want to continue now. I'm sad again. I kind of forgot about it. I drink my sorrows away, but now I'm sad again. It'll be okay. I will move forward, except when we had to talk about it when I get enraged. You should have seen me. We'll get into it when we get into it. All right, let's get into it. We'll skim through some of these early games, and we'll go through them real fast. Coastal Carolina and Arkansas State. This was a Thursday night game, wasn't it?
Thursday night, yep.
Oh, wait. I skipped over something. Let me go back. I forgot, Ryan. Put it up there. Thank you, Ryan. All right, the AP Top 25. Georgia's number one, and they got all the votes. There's nobody else. Iowa's number 2. Cincinnati's number 3. Wow. Oklahoma, number 4. Alabama, number 5. Ohio State, number 6. Penn State, number 7. Michigan at number 8. Oregon at number 9. Michigan State at number 10. Kentucky at number 11, which is just a sin and a shame. They should be ranked higher. They should have made it to the top 10 before at least facing Kentucky. You could at least say it was a top 10 match. Come on, man. Have a sense of the moment. 12, Oklahoma State. 13th, Ole Miss. 14th, Notre Dame. 15th, Coastal Carolina, the best team in South Carolina. Wake Forest at number 16. That's just disrespectful. 17, Arkansas. 18, Arizona State. 19, BYU. Embarrassing loss by them. Florida at number 20. I don't know if we'll talk about it, but they didn't impress me too much against Vanderbilt. You should beat Vanderbilt by more. Yeah. Texas A&M, 21. NC State at 22. SMU, 23. San Diego State at 24. At number 25, the Texas Longhorns, down 4 spots. All right, there you go. AP Top 25. Nothing too shocking in there, I'd reckon.
No, just a ton of Big Ten teams in the top 10, but
they'll maul each other to death before it's in. And
yeah,
we're not into predictions this episode. This is a recap. This is what we do. All right, Coastal Carolina, Arkansas State. Coastal Carolina won 52-20.
Big win.
Oh man, they didn't hit the over this time though. Well, they hit the over actually because it was 72 points, 70 and a half, but they didn't hit it by themselves.
No, they didn't hit it by themselves.
But... yeah, big win. Butch Jones crying in his sleep. Sad. Sad. All right, Temple at Cincy. Cincy just obliterated this team. They did cover. Oh my gosh, they were only 2 points from covering the over by themselves. Wow, but the over still hit at 55. So good for Cincy. Any thoughts? They're number 3 ranked team in the country.
Yeah, I think they're going to cakewalk until they play SMU, but big win.
I think they'll probably cakewalk SMU, to be honest with you.
They probably
at this point, I don't know. With Alabama losing yesterday, I think to get in, they need Alabama to lose again.
Well, I got by Georgia, but I think you're right.
Because I think Ohio State, if Ohio State or Michigan or whoever, if it comes to that and they beat Iowa in the Big Ten championship game, because I think Iowa's schedule from here on out is very easy. I don't think they play anybody hard anymore. Yeah. I think that's over. So at this point for Iowa, they just need to go undefeated. And they won't put 2 Big Ten teams in the playoffs. So whoever wins that Big Ten championship game against Iowa gets in. So that's my prediction there.
As long as Ohio State doesn't lose another game.
I mean, Ohio State, any of those teams, they can't lose. I mean, Michigan maybe can afford to lose 1. But even then, you've got to beat Ohio State if you lose that 1. So, it's all weird. The Big Ten's a weird conference full of weird people doing weird things. Yeah. Weird.
Midwestern.
All right, Oklahoma. Oh, wait. Sorry. Almost got you riled up there. Stanford at Arizona State. Arizona State looked pretty good. I liked it.
Good defensive game. Not something you see in the Pac-12, but they won 28-10. Job from Edwards.
Yeah, good job, the Fighting Herm Edwards. That's what I call them, the Fighting Herm Edwards. They're dominating out there. I think they have a real chance to win the pack.
I agree.
12. Where were they ranked at? 18th? That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
They're 5-1. Jesus.
Like Oregon.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Oklahoma versus Texas. Here's your big boy. Here's your meat. Your next two games is your meat of this episode. So if you're here for this episode, this is what you're here for. The next two scores. Oklahoma won the game. Where you don't have the score. Oh, wait, yeah, you do. 55-48 in the highest scoring Red River Shootout game ever. I stole that right out of Ryan's notes.
Yeah.
You want me to go first or you want to go first?
Go first. I want to hear your thoughts.
I didn't get I mean, I sat there and y'all's game lasted longer than ours. So I was sitting there depressed watching your game. And I was like, I was happy for you. I really was. Ryan texted me. Oh man, I didn't give him. I wasn't nice to anybody though. Don't feel bad. Everybody in the world wanted to text me, and I wasn't in a good mood. Here's my thoughts. I'll give them to you short and sweet. Rattler's done. He has to be. Ryan's gonna come back and say he's not done. He might not be. I mean, he might not. We'll see what happens. He needs to be done. The Oklahoma team looked totally different. They really did. They really, really did. Oklahoma looked better with that guy in there. They look more energetic. I think Ryan made a point to me last night. We were texting and he said, yeah, the guy's kind of all over the place. He's a little wild. And that's true. But Oklahoma needs that. I feel with Rattler in there, you got like a game manager, right? Almost in a way. Where in there you put that Caleb Williams guy, that's his name, right? Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. You put him in there, you got a gunslinger. You got somebody who's going to take chances. You got you a Brett Favre. You've got you a Johnny Manziel type of guy in there that's going to use the pieces around him. And it seemed when they had him going, and now you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but when Caleb Williams got going, it's kind of like yesterday in the Arkansas game. Once Oklahoma started able to run the quarterback and started making passes down the field, that opens the game for the running game. So the running back has got more room. The wide receivers got more carries, and you're able to do more and push the ball more.
Yeah.
On the other side, Texas, what a collapse. They had you 28-7?
28-7 at the end of the first half or quarter.
First quarter.
Quarter.
If you would have told me at the end of that first quarter that Oklahoma was going to lose or win that football game, I would have told you were a fool. And they won the football game.
Yeah.
I just think Texas pathetic. Not good looking for Arkansas.
I don't know. Oklahoma
actually was good looking. But.
It was pretty good looking. Texas just got every opportunity to win that game in the first half. They had a blocked punt, which they put in for a touchdown. The very first play went for 75 yards for a touchdown. Rattler threw an interception, and he fumbled the ball all in the first quarter.
Yeah, I turned on my TV. I was only not watching the game for 2 minutes. Yeah. And they already up 7. I was like, what happened? I was like, I didn't get even an opportunity to look at what's so doing. How did they score? Yeah. It was 13-38. I was like, I didn't believe what happened? Yeah, it was crazy.
It was just a complete disaster the first quarter with glimpses in the second quarter. Caleb Williams had a 66-yard touchdown run.
That kind of felt a change in the air when that happened.
Yeah, that started the change, and I think Rattler he had a fumble after that or something. He had a turnover after that.
They had that wild play, that one wild play that was crazy. The one where he tossed it to that one guy and he threw it back to Rattler, and then Rattler threw it up the field. That was nuts. Y'all were crazy. Lincoln Riley was like, we're down 28-7. I got to pull some crap out of my ass, dude. We got to get something going here.
Yeah, Riley pulled every single play out, I think, that they had. They had to pull it out because they were down to 21. It was the biggest comeback in that game's history between Oklahoma and Texas. So,
wow.
Rattler just looked flat. I think he about 50% completion rate. One pick, one rushing touchdown, one fumble, about 100 yards passing. Caleb Williams comes in. He ran the ball very well. I think he ended up with 80 yards rushing, over 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns in the air. one of which was crazy. He literally heaved it 60 yards into the air before the receiver caught it. He threw it 60 yards, and Marvin Mims caught it for an incredible touchdown. And then you also have to look at Kennedy Brooks. Kennedy Brooks outplayed Bijan Robinson. Kennedy Brooks ran for over 200 yards, and the final 2 touchdowns sealed the deal for Oklahoma. Bijan Robinson only ran for 137. However, Casey Thompson's the real deal for Texas. 83 for 339 yards, 5 touchdowns. He is special. And any team that faces Texas here on out, Oklahoma State has it next, is going to have to watch out because Texas will score points. However, Oklahoma probably should not have won this game. It's incredible that they did. They literally handed the game to Texas in the first half. And then everything was right for Oklahoma in the second half. The defense came together. Texas only scored 10 points in the entire second half. The offense was rolling. Oklahoma outscored Texas 25-7 in the fourth quarter. And we needed that. Like, if we didn't do that, we would have lost. I think after the game, Lincoln Riley said that Rattler will be the starter against TCU, which is our next game. However, I think the notion that Rattler has, he knows what's going to happen if he doesn't play well. I feel like Rattler's just been playing around. He hasn't been taking things seriously. He's, I'm going to be the number 1 pick. I'm going to be the Heisman. I'm going to be all this. And he's
not going to be any of that.
Not anymore. Yeah, his draft stuff is gone. I think he's just been playing around. I don't think he's been taking things seriously. I think Lincoln Riley said, hey, you're done. You're not going to play against Texas anymore. You are finished. Caleb Williams he's taking it. He's talented. I trust him. Caleb Williams, you go. And that Rattler knows, if I don't play well, I'm done. I won't play another snap at Oklahoma. Caleb Williams will play. So Rattler, if he doesn't get together against TCU by that first half, Caleb Williams is going to come in. He's going to start the rest of the season. I think this upcoming game will define what happens to Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. Does he transfer, or does he stick it out and do something? So it's really up to Rattler and his response to see what happens. But incredible win. One of the most insane games I've seen in a very long time, especially for Oklahoma. I mean, just back and forth, tons of points. Luckily, our defense finally got together in the second half. But
yeah, that was one thing I did notice was a good second half resurgence by your defense. What were they up by at the half? 35 something?
I think it was 38.
Yeah, so they only scored 10 points. I mean,
yeah.
You won the football game. You stopped, only held them 10 points. That's good.
And that's the thing about the Oklahoma-Texas game is it really never matters what the score is. I mean, just coming away with a win in that game is a positive. I said it in the last show, like Texas could be 0-5, Oklahoma 5-0. It's going to be close. They're always close. Every single time it's a close game. Just winning it is the story. Like, glad we won it. Go on to the next game. Now you have to blow out TCU. If you want to keep staying in that playoff picture, you got to start blowing people out. But with Texas, just beat them. Doesn't matter how you do it. If it's ugly, whatever, just beat them.
Right. Yeah, I think overall, good game. I enjoyed it. I was happy for you. Like I said, it was a better outcome than what I experienced. So I'm happy that you got to experience that. I knew you probably were mad. What was your thoughts after that first quarter?
Oh,
I knew you. I can always tell Ryan's mad because I'll text him and he won't respond.
I was furious.
Yeah, I believe it.
So I have when I'm watching on Saturday, I have a set up. So I'll watch the game I'm most interested in on the main TV, and then I'll have like a laptop or have my phone out if there's a third game that's interesting to me. So I have the main team on Oklahoma and Texas on the main TV, and Arkansas and Ole Miss on the laptop. And then after the first half, I was like, screw this. So I switched it. I put Arkansas up, and then I put
who picked?
I was mainly just trying to focus on the Arkansas game. So I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I kind of have to keep it on.
Yeah.
I want to watch. So I was watching the Arkansas game,
and then you switched it over. When did you switch it over?
Well, it was so hard because Oklahoma would get some momentum, then Rattler would have a turnover, and then they get momentum, and then get that turnover, or they would just get a field goal instead of a touchdown when they needed a touchdown. So I just couldn't. I was like, I just can't put it back up. But like once, I think when Caleb Williams threw that bomb to Marvin Mims in the end zone, that's when I was like, all right, I'll switch back.
I mean, it was a good game. I thought y'all played well in the end, and that's what you did. Like you said, you had to win the football game. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And you won the football game.
Won the football game.
So there you go, Texas, Oklahoma. Caleb Williams, the future of Oklahoma football. It could be a good year, good times coming for the old Oklahoma Sooners.
I hope so. We'll see.
That turns around. It's time.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. Oklahoma, I mean, these were some of the best. I mean, this weekend had some of the best games I've seen.
Yeah. It was a great weekend of football. I mean, yesterday was one of the greatest sports days we have had in a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was insane to have two of those games going at the same time. Arkansas and Ole Miss was going.
And they said our game was like third best of the whole day. Third or fourth. I mean, we had like a fantastic game, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game back and forth. I mean, not a lot of defense.
No defense.
Back and forth. Arkansas's offense really showed out. They played very well.
We have a good offense, man. I don't want to ever hear that again.
You have a good offense. Ole Miss.
People say they have bad. I don't want to ever hear that again.
Y'all are keeping up with Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss is supposed to. Matt Corral's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, if not the best. I think he might be the best, honestly.
I think so.
Just so back and forth. When he went for two, I should have picked a better play call at the very end.
I mean, yeah, even if we would have got it, we had to have that flag.
I
kind of wish they would have gotten it, and then even if we got the flag, he would have forced to kick a field goal at that point.
Yeah, I feel like they should have had a better play call because when you do that kind of play, like a bootleg out, and you really have one guy you can hit, and if he's covered, the only option is to try and run it in, but it's not a good angle. It wasn't the best play call. It worked for Clemson in that championship a few years back, but this one it's not. It just didn't turn out well. I mean, you gotta be very positive on the future of Arkansas. I mean, they lost this game at one point. Very talented, good Ole Miss team. You were right there. You could have won it. I mean, it was just a game of inches, really. So I think positives are taken out of it. I think you'll be better next week. And
yeah, I think we'll beat Auburn. It's sad. I was sad, Let me tell you, I've never felt my heart beat like it did that day. I never have felt like that before, ever. I don't know if you've ever had your heartbeat get high like that before. Oh, yeah. I mean, I could hear it in my chest going, doom, 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 doom. I thought about to have a heart attack. I honestly did. I was like, this is insanity. They're going to kill me.
Yesterday with my team.
That's true. Yeah, so funny story, and I don't know if I told you this yet, or maybe I told you. I said I was going to tell it on here. I texted my dad after the game, and I was upset. He texted me, "Great day, what happened?" I texted him. I said, we lost or whatever, I was mad, And he texted me back, the most inspiring piece of anything I've ever heard. He said, at least it went 52-0. And I pondered that. I mean, it don't make it any easier. It don't make it a hurt go away anymore, But the fact that we are where we are, when everybody else thought we would be where we would be, the fact that we're 4-2 and have a chance to win the next 3 games. We have Auburn at home, Arkansas State, Pine Bluff at home, which is going to be a win, and then Mississippi State at home. I think all 3 of those are winnable games. The fact that we even have a chance of sniffing 7-2. If you would have told me that the first week of August when we started doing these football shows, I would have told you were an idiot and that you deserve to get punched in the nuts. I aren't drinking the Kool-Aid, but I wasn't drinking it that much. We were a 2-point, Ryan, to put it in perspective, we are 1 2-point conversion away to being top of the SEC West right now. 1. If we would have made that, we would be number one in the SEC West. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. That's how it goes sometimes. We'll just have to rebound. We're number 17 in the country. A rebound against Auburn. And we'll be good to go. I mean, it was a heartbreaker of the game. It really was. It hurts. But we won. It is what it is. I mean, we lost. It is what it is. Have to move forward. There's a bunch to be said. Matt Corral, wow. Our defense, what? Barry Odom, thank God. I mean, he has some games where he's a magician, and some games I wonder what the heck he's doing. They were non-existent. Ole Miss didn't have any resistance yesterday. Arkansas was supposed to have this great defense, but yesterday there was none. There was none of that. That was gone. I don't know what happened to it. It was gone. Poof. I mean, Ole Miss would score points on players who were wide open. Wide open. Wide. I mean, Ryan could make that play. I could make that play. I don't know if I could catch it. Ryan could probably make that play. I couldn't because I couldn't catch the ball. I mean, these guys were wide open. I mean, and there was no defense. Ole Miss's defense is bad. We knew that coming in. The whole thing, Arkansas had a better defense than Ole Miss. I mean, Matt Corral is great. That's true. But when you kick him and you kill him and the guys are wide open, you can't do what you're doing. You know what I mean? The guys are wide open. I don't know. It is what it is. I wasn't impressed with the defense. The defense was bad. I think Sam Pittman, if you asked him that tomorrow, he'll sit there in his press conference and say they were bad. They didn't do a good job. It's disappointing, yada, yada, yada. But that's how it goes sometimes, Their defense is bad. Our defense wasn't supposed to be bad, but it was bad. Their defense is actually bad. Statistically, fun fact for you, KJ Jefferson had a better day than Matt Corral. They won't say it. The mainstream media won't talk about it, but it's true. Overall, sad, but it could be worse. Yeah. I know that's not the best way of saying it. I think if that game was in Fayetteville, Arkansas, we would have won. But it wasn't. It was in Ole Miss. First of all, I'm shocked that you hear what the guy said on the telecast. He said, I was shocked that there was 1 second left on the clock. He said, usually at home field stadiums, they let that little second run off there, but they stopped it.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing you have to look at on a positive note is Arkansas is rebuilding. This is technically still a rebuild.
Yeah, it's true.
In terms of rebuilds, y'all are way ahead over most teams are. If you look at Clemson's rebuild, like way back when, they
took like 3-4 years.
Like 70 points to West Virginia. And then you look at, Nebraska. They can't. I mean,
they can't rebuild.
Like Nebraska is right now after 4 years is where Arkansas was last year, the first year of the rebuild. That's crazy. Positives. I mean, y'all are heading in the right direction. USC's been trying to rebuild for 10 freaking years. And they can't figure anything out.
I mean, now we were bad but we were just bad. You know what I mean? We were just bad football team.
Exactly. And now
things have changed.
Things are changing.
I mean, we look at it today, it might not be what it is. If we do what we need to do, we can win the rest of our SEC games, other than maybe Alabama. But even now, I have faith. Maybe the Ole Miss game was a fluke. Maybe Lane Kiffin and them were too. I think there was too much emotion going into that game. Too many expectations. I think if it was a different, I think they were dealt they didn't do themselves any favor, but they were kind of dealt a hard hand there. The whole national media. I think looking back on it, if you put Alabama on Ole Miss's field tomorrow, I think Ole Miss wins that football game. I really do.
It's plausible.
It'd be high scoring at least, just like it was yesterday.
We'll get into the Bama.
I mean, like I said, Arkansas has a chance. 9-3, I think, would be achievable. 8-4 wouldn't be terrible. 10-2, unlikely. So I'd play Alabama.
But you never know. You also get, if you can get a 10-win season with your bowl game, that's huge. I mean,
10-3 would be massive.
That's huge. I
mean that'd bring in the recruits like water.
That's how Clemson started. I mean, Clemson got 10-win season in 2011, got their butts kicked in the bowl game, but they won the ACC. They had some big wins. They got recruits rolling.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's Arkansas versus Ole Miss. KJ Jefferson, good for you, man. You're a KJ Jefferson might win the Heisman Trophy next year. He's very good if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
He has a chance to play for it. All right, moving on. That's Arkansas Ole Miss.
Tough loss, but fantastic game.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Maryland, Ohio State. Maryland at Ohio State. Ohio State blow them out.
Blew them out. I think Buckeyes are back. Their quarterback's thrown for 5 touchdowns in their past 2 games.
I think these Ohio State people are freaking bonkers. I mean, they're gonna play anybody. Play somebody real. Play a man. They need to play Michigan State. They need to play Michigan. They need to play Penn State.
They will.
They need to now. Because everybody's this guy, Ohio State. I follow this guy, Ohio State guy on Twitter. And he was like, "Oh, Ohio State scored 8 possessions, 8 touchdowns. Oh, that's so good for you. Good for you. It's Maryland. Iowa exposed them, blew them out last week. Get out of here with that crap."
I mean, you have to look at it. The way that Ohio State plays versus the way these other teams play, Ohio State has an advantage.
They do. The other teams do play like the old nasty mouth football, don't they?
Ohio State can beat that easily. That's why Ohio State's going to rush on through.
Yeah, good point. Michigan State at Rutgers. Also, in the last game right before we leave it, I said in the prediction, I get credit because I picked Ohio State, but I said Ohio State by close. Sheesh. I was completely wrong about that. We will move on from that. I will pick myself up and do better next week. I picked Ohio State, though, so we don't do gambling on this show. This is just a straight pick 'em kind of thing. All right, Michigan State, Rutgers. Michigan State wins 31-13. I don't have much to say here. Hey, what you doing, Rutgers? What are you doing, Rutgers? Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing, Greg Schiano? You freaking bum. Greg Schiano's a freaking bum. What a freaking bum. What a loser. What a loser. What a gabago. What a freaking guy. Any thoughts on Michigan State?
They're in the top 10. See if they're actually any good when they play some, better teams like Michigan and Ohio State, but big win in the meantime.
Yeah, good win for Sporty. Oh man, I am ready. I've been chomping at the jaws for this one. Oh, this is going to make me happy. This is going to put me in a good mood. South Carolina at Tennessee. Let me get the pencil out. Boom, pencil. I am excited about this. The Volunteers won 45-20. Now, as a man of honor, I will be fair. I will raise my hand, and I promise to be fair to the South Carolina faithful. Your football team is god-awful. Everything about it is bad. Your defense is apparently bad. Your offense is bad. Your quarterback's bad. Your offensive line's bad. Your wide receivers are bad. Your running backs can't run the ball. The quarterback can't throw the ball. He's afraid to do anything. Your offensive play callers are bad. Your head coach is a sham. He should be fired after this season. Your defensive coordinator is a sham. Everything about your team's a sham. Tennessee rocked you yesterday. Now, you could say it was because of the black uniforms, but I don't think that had anything to do with it. You could say it was worth the hundred thousands of fans in the stadium. You could say that had something to do with it. I don't think it had anything to do with it. They have better players than you. They have a better coach who actually has an idea of what he's doing. Boom.
Wow.
That was me being fair too. I could have been unfair and said that it's hopeless. But
so if you look at these two programs, you should look at them and say they're at the.
They are really in the same light, right? They should be at the exact same level because both fired their coaches last year, both defensive scumbags who couldn't do anything. And
then you also have to look at it and say Tennessee lost a lot more players and did
way more.
That's a ton. And those players are starting for Alabama and Oklahoma right now.
And Ole Miss. Ole Miss got a player from them.
They're everywhere, and they're starting for
Texas. I think Texas even got one.
I think that
like a linebacker or something. But still, I get what you're
saying. Tennessee lost their entire first team. They lost their entire first team, offense and defense. And they're coming out and they're blowing out Mizzou and South Carolina. That, I think, should put a ton of credit for that on them.
Yeah, Josh Heupel. I think we underestimated him.
Completely. I thought Tennessee was garbage this year because of the bad.
I thought it was a bad coaching hire. I was like, who's this weird-looking guy with a weird-looking face? He's a weird-looking dude, but he can recruit, and he's going to recruit, and he's going to coach some football now.
And he developed. He took what he had, which wasn't much, and he developed them. And they're not going to beat Bama or anything like that.
I don't know, maybe. It depends on where the game's at,
But they're beating good Oh my God.
Well, they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat.
Teams are supposed
They're
to beat.
losing to Georgia. They're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to Alabama. They're going to lose to Florida, But at the end of the day, they're going to beat the South Carolinas, the Missouris, the Vanderbilts. Heck, I might give them a shot versus Kentucky. I think Kentucky probably wins the football game if you put them together now. But,
Yeah, I think so. I'm really curious to see what Tennessee does when they actually recruit, when they get past all these violations and stuff. But Tennessee just trounced them. Like, it wasn't even competitive. I think it was 35-0 at one point. Like, that's just.
I know the Tennessee faithful won't like what I'm about to say, but if you think about it, Tennessee isn't, Alabama or Florida or Georgia. It's a little lower than it used to be, back in the 90s. It's 2021. Let's be realistic here. And Tennessee, it's kind of, like I said, Tennessee fans, don't get too mad, but it's kind of like Arkansas in a way because you're middling, you know what I mean? Kind of like an Auburn, if you want to use that, an Auburn or even a Kentucky.
Like a lower Auburn.
Yeah. But you have to develop your talent because you're not going to get all these 5 stars to Alabama or Clemson or Texas or Oklahoma or, LSU, even LSU. LSU's a prime example of what happens when you have talent and you don't develop it. You don't have anybody developing it.
I think Clemson right now as well on offense.
Exactly. Clemson, Florida State. There's another good example, even though they won yesterday against UNC. Shout out to Florida State. But, that's my point is like, you got to be able to bring people in who are willing to develop talent. I think that's one thing Arkansas has done a good job of so far is they do a good job of bringing people in who develop good talent. You got to have good talent on your football team. And, you're not going to get the 5 stars. So when you get the 3s and the 4s and the 2s and even the 1 sometimes, you bring them in and you develop them and you make them better. Because you see what happens at LSU, Clemson, Florida State, Texas, even Alabama a little bit last night. You don't develop your talent, you're not going to have the best results.
Exactly.
So if Josh Heupel can keep doing that, any thoughts on South Carolina? I railed against them. Do you want to rail against them? Come on, this is your shot.
There just wasn't a whole lot there.
If I'm not being joking, the running game is abysmal. It is bad. It's nothing of what it was. I don't know what happened to it. The coordinators are bad too. The offensive coordinator specifically is bad. And I read a report last night, Ryan. I don't know if you knew this. So, and when Shane Beamer was hired, we had the whole South Carolina coaching fiasco. We talked about it a little bit on the show all those months ago. When he was hired, Mike Bobo, who apparently is well respected in SEC circles. Did you know
that? I guess so.
I didn't know that. I thought he sucked. But anyway, Mike Bobo got offered by Auburn. Right? I don't know what he's getting paid. Let's say he's getting paid $1 million. $1 million. Mike Bobo went to Shane Beamer and said, hey, will you match this or give me a little bit more and I will stay here? And he said no. And he let Mike Bobo walk through the door. And I don't know if that's true.
I mean, I think it's fair.
I feel it's probably true. I assume it's probably 100% true. But
I think it's good that Mike Bobo left. However, I mean, I think he would have been better than whoever they have right now. I don't even know the name, but the only good.
Yeah, they're not good.
The only good plays the South Carolina really had was special teams, which Beamer has a big hand in. But I mean, the fake punt. I mean, that was cool. That was a good play, and it really pumped Beamer up and down by 35. Didn't really matter, but
South Carolina faithful are turning on Shane Beamer. I saw a bunch of hate tweets about him yesterday.
And going back to we're looking at rebuilding, like teams that are in the process of rebuilding. Tennessee is one of them. Arkansas was one of them.
I made the point last week.
Those levels.
Yeah, I made the point last week where you kind of compared, right, Dabo Swinney, and if you want to go that route, right. So South Carolina went that route. They went the Arkansas Clemson route, right? You hire a guy, he's more of a game manager. Josh Heupel ain't no game manager. He ain't no game manager. He calling them plays. You know what I mean? If he's not calling them, he's got a very, very heavy hand in what they're doing. And I have a feeling he's calling. Mark Stoops ain't a game manager. He's a defensive guy. right? Kirby, a defensive guy. But my point is, if you're going to bring in a game manager like Arkansas or Clemson, you got to bring in people around him that will help him succeed. You know what I mean? I get it's year one. We were 3-7 last year. I'm not going to put too much heat on South Carolina. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's how the ball rolls. You're not going to be any good, man. It's bad. The things are bad right now. Be thankful you got 3 wins.
We knew that they were going to struggle. We just didn't know they were going to struggle this much.
Yeah, Tennessee was shocking. It was shocking. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. They blew them all. That was one competitive football. All right, moving on from South Carolina to Tennessee. All right, Georgia. Oh, Georgia. All right, at Auburn. Georgia, 34-10. They're unstoppable. They're freaking unstoppable. I mean, that Jordan-Hare Stadium was packed. The number 2 team in the country at the time was coming to your stadium. Every single person from Auburn and Alabama was coming to that game. Bruce Pearl was there shirtless. Cam Newton was there shirtless. They were all shirtless, screaming in the fans. They brought out Charles Barkley was there, and they still got their ass kicked by Georgia. Georgia is the best team in the country, and after Alabama's lost, it doesn't even matter. And I totally didn't do what I said I was going to do right before show. Doesn't matter. I'm keep it going.
Doesn't matter. Once JT Daniels gets back, it's just done. Stetson Bennett's not good enough. And he's still
he's still beating the crap out of people. All they had to do was run the ball. That's all he did against Auburn. Yeah. They don't have to throw it. What throw it? You don't need to throw it. What's the point? They beat up everybody.
The best team in the country right now. No
they
doubt.
Probably don't play anybody else. Who else do they got to play? Florida? I guess Kentucky and Florida.
Bama when they play them. But.
Yeah, I guess Georgia Tech. Oh, that'd be awesome. Oof. Lord, they're going to destroy Georgia Tech. Right. Georgia's best team in the country. Georgia is so good, and I didn't think I would ever put it to this point. I think they're comparable to the past couple years, just defensively. And I, honest to God, believe that. Alabama's offense is what Georgia's defense is this year. Their second team would start over the majority of the SEC. And I honestly believe that. Their second team, Ryan. The number 2s.
Georgia this year, if JT Daniels was healthy, reminds me of Florida State in 2013. When they were just packed. Every player on that team, defense, offense, special teams, got drafted. And this is how it feels again. They're just too dominant. They're going to beat everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall, Georgia. Sorry, I had to do something real fast. I apologize. I do think Georgia is just going to beat everybody else. I don't think it's competitive. All right, let's skip on these games, Ryan, and we'll just have that all as one big clip. And I'm throwing in Alabama falls to Texas A&M. All of us were calling, CBS idiots. I myself called CBS an idiot on this show. I said there is no reason for them to go to this game. They have lost to Arkansas. They lost to Mississippi State. They only beat Colorado by 10 points. Alabama is going to destroy them. Me and Ryan said on this show that Alabama was going to destroy them. And won't you look at it? I mean, you think Oklahoma, Texas was the best game. You think Arkansas, Ole Miss was the best game. At the end of the day, Alabama lost to Texas A&M. What do you think?
I mean, crazy game. I did not expect it. Zach Calzada looked like a Heisman Trophy candidate. I mean, dude was just killing it. He was making plays. He had one bad throw, literally one bad throw all game. He even got hurt, probably a bad injury. I think his ankle's pretty swollen right now, but he even came back in and went for the game-winning drive. Crazy game. Texas A&M just came out from the start and just punched Bama in the mouth. They were dominant on defense. They got a little tired at the end, but they had enough defense even at the end to win the game. Zach Calzada and Isaiah Spiller looked incredible. A&M, they must have been saving everything for Bama because they came out.
Yeah, they were, because that Calzada guy, or Calzada, looked like Peyton Manning out there last night.
Great. Like, he didn't
Tom
look
Brady-esque.
He looked horrible in the past 2 games. He looked great in this past game.
Yeah, they looked bad last week. Bad.
And A&M just came out and beat number 1 team in the country in Kyle Field with a game-winning field goal to win it. I mean, incredible.
Some of those games, I was watching the highlights right before we started, and Nick Saban decided to kick a field goal on 4th and 2. And I was sitting there watching that. I was like, what is he doing, man? I'll give credit where credit is due. Lane Kiffin, he's a scumbag coach with a scumbag team. They are aggressive, and they do. We stopped them once on 4th down. I think they went for it 8 times yesterday, and they got 7 out of 8. That's pretty good. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
you got to be aggressive. You're Nick Saban, man. Have a little confidence. It's 4th and 2. You're Alabama, man. Run that Bryce Young man up the freaking gut.
I
tell him to make a sacrifice for the football team, man.
Been a little different with his play calling this year, and I think that has to do with Sarkisian leaving.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's big dummy.
Bill O'Brien being there. No, so one, they have not wanted to run Bryce Young at all. They've even from the first game, they came out and said, we don't want Bryce Young to run. We want that to be a last resort thing.
Why? Can he not run?
He can. He's a fantastic runner. I think they don't want to get hurt. And Bill O'Brien, that's just his.
They must have no confidence in the backup.
Plays. And 2, you don't have a Najee Harris. You have good running backs, fantastic running backs. But they don't have the confidence in those running backs that did with Najee Harris or pass running backs. Too many to name.
Oh, they're not as good as those guys were. Those guys were monsters.
The current.
We talked about them before this show. They've had some guys. We're not going to talk about them, but they have men on those. They used to have some men back there.
Yeah,
and they don't have that now.
They have good running backs. Don't get me wrong, but they're not Najee Harris and Derrick Henry and whatever. But so I think that played into it. I think Bill O'Brien is very conservative as play calling, and we saw that in the NFL with the Texans too. That's just how he is. He's a Big Ten guy. He went through the Nittany Lions program at Penn State. It's just smash mouth ball. And then, same with the NFL. That's just kind of how the NFL plays. It's not these big flamboyant things you see in college. It's, you run the ball, you get some passes, nothing crazy. And I think that's what he's bringing to Bama, and it might hurt them down the road.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if Bill O'Brien's going to be there much longer. I just don't know. But I do know Alabama lost yesterday, and I think it's hard to explain that game because everything you thought going into it just wasn't. Texas A&M looked good last night. They didn't look like they did against Mississippi State. And they were at home against Mississippi State. They were at home. They were in, Aggie land, whatever, with the guys screaming and the yell people, the weird group of people. Weird. You got to be weird, I guess, if Texas is your competitor. But still, weird group of people. I don't know. It was a great football game. I don't remember the last time Texas A&M beat Alabama. Well, I do remember it. That's one of the best football games I ever watched when Johnny Manziel was able to beat them. And, I had the game. I was playing video games last night, watching press conferences, prepping for today's podcast. And I was sitting there watching. And I was like, no way, right? And Ryan texted me. I didn't even have it on. I was watching Michigan, Nebraska. Ryan texted me. He said, is Alabama bad or something like that? And I said, what? And I was like, shut up, or something like, shut up. You don't know what I'm talking about. And I turned it on. They were down 17-7. I was like, what the heck is going on here? I was like, how does this happen? And by golly, if I wasn't, I thought every second in that second half, I was like, oh, it's a matter of time. Oh, it's only a matter of time till Alabama wins this football game. Well, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
And boy, won't you tell? Was that wrong? They were.
Yeah. I was literally writing our notes at the end of the game. I was just kind of preparing, and I literally had typed out. Texas played very well, but at the end they didn't have enough juice to finish it out after Zach Calzada got hurt. And then Zach comes back in the game and goes on this big drive to get a winning field goal. And I was like, all right, next day, it's got to rewrite all my notes.
Yeah, I knew. It's always weird when that last possession comes around, you know. You just never know what's going to happen. That guy almost has kick too. That kicker.
I know, it knuckled.
Oof. Well, there you go. Alabama lost. Unbelievable. I didn't think it was going to happen, really. I honestly believe, especially last night. I was thinking maybe it would come at the hands of Auburn. They like to beat Alabama. Arkansas, maybe, if we got lucky. Georgia, yeah. Twice. But now even that looks uncertain. Because, last week we were proclaiming Alabama to be best team in the country. Them and Georgia. Thought they were separated. It turns out they're not. Turns out they're just as bad as everybody else. Georgia is separated. And it's Georgia and then everybody else.
I agree.
That's the way it goes right now. I think Oklahoma could be there if they start getting Caleb Williams guy.
They're going to be there, yeah.
All right, let me go back up because I skipped a couple over it. But that's the end of A&M Alabama. I like I have one little secret about A&M. I do like their song they play. What is it? Oh my God. It doesn't matter. Look it up, but I do like it. I think it's good. I don't know. It's one thing I do like about A&M, the only thing. But all right, Boise State at BYU. Oh, Boise State, yeah. I was watching this game. This game, I feel like the score doesn't indicate of how close it actually wasn't. I felt Boise State really dominated this football game. I don't know if you had much insight on it. I did watch this because I was too lazy to turn the TV channel at one point after Arkansas lost, so it just was kind of on.
Yeah, Boise State dominated from the start. BYU just didn't look like themselves. They just looked kind of like a
lethargic.
Yeah. BYU is number 10 team in the country. Last show we were saying, hey, watch out, they could be,
I was impressed with some of their wins. Utah was big. Utah State was big. Arizona State looks really good right now.
Yeah. And so, and Boise State was kind of going in the opposite direction. Normally they're like the group of 5 team we talk about. Normally they're good. And then they just come out of nowhere and beat BYU in Provo.
At home. It was in BYU.
Provo, yeah. It's huge. So sucks for BYU. I think they're going to start dropping off. They got some tough games. I think they got Baylor next.
Ooh.
So BYU might be dropping out.
Yeah, I think Baylor might get them. All right. Wake Forest at Syracuse. Wake Forest, man. I mean, let me tell you something. Let me be the first to say it. And this is my take on the Wake Forest. They beat Wake Forest where you had to score 40-37 in overtime, right? Let me take you on a field trip, Ryan, may I? To a team, a Clemson team, that got a quarterback hurt in Syracuse. The guy's name was Kelly Bryant. And then a bunch of bad quarterbacks came in for him. And we lost to Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. I'm not saying Wake Forest is going to win the national championship. The AP polls disrespect them constantly. But I will say that I think Wake Forest is a very good football team, and I think they deserve some respect.
Yeah. I think they do deserve some more respect than the AP
I watched this game. It's good.
It was a good game, very back and forth. And Clemson has to go to the Carrier Dome this upcoming Friday, so that too. It's, they overcame. At the end of the day, you win the game. It's good. That's what matters.
Clemson has nothing to lose. I wonder if that's just going to make them reckless. Wake Forest had something to lose here, but
yeah. But Wake Forest played well. They got the win. They did what was needed. Syracuse, I don't think is a very good team personally, but you won. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
good job.
That's true.
You win.
Keep going, Wake Forest. I'm pulling for Wake Forest. If this is the year that Clemson drops, whatever. They don't win the ACC. If this is that year, I would have no one but Wake Forest win this division. I don't want it to be, and I don't think there is anybody that's going to win the division over Wake Forest other than Clemson. But I don't think there's anybody capable of doing it because Louisville ain't going to do it. Florida State ain't going to do it. Our division's actually kind of bad.
NC State's got a shot.
Florida State?
NC State.
North Carolina. NC State. Wake Forest, NC State. NC State, I want to see them. I think they'll drop a couple. I really do. Clemson doesn't define your season. You know what I mean? They almost lost Louisiana Tech.
That's true.
All right. Penn State, Iowa. Do a little speed round here. This was a big game. Boring.
Very boring. It felt like
very Big Ten.
It felt like a Division II NFL game. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, so I felt like if any of you out there, Steelers Ravens from 2011 or something like that. That's what this was. Well, freaking Iowa has the uniforms to beat the Steelers, so it kind of could be like that. But maybe Steelers Colts, little color scheme thing going on there.
Looking at this game, Penn State should have won this game. If they're
I'm surprised they lost, to be honest with you. They went up 14-3.
17-3 at one point.
I was watching at 14. I saw them score 14 and they went up. I was like, I ain't watching this. They're blowing Iowa out. This is stupid. And I turned it off. And then later on, I'm checking Twitter and I see how they lost. I was like, what? How did that happen? I had other things going on. I was watching Georgia Auburn and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
But,
Clifford got hurt. Their starting quarterback. If Penn State's quarterback, Clifford, didn't get hurt, Penn State wins.
Oh, he got hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt.
I didn't watch the notes on this.
After they went 17-3, he got hurt. The backup came in and couldn't do anything. And for two picks, they both picks.
Iowa does have a good defense.
They have a great defense. Iowa got 4 interceptions on the day, and that's why they won. Iowa's offense is garbage. It's just hot garbage. It's awful. And the only reason they won.
That's why it's going to be hard for them to compete.
Backup quarterback came in. Even though Clifford did throw 2 interceptions by himself, he was able to move the ball and score points. The backup couldn't do it. Iowa is not as good as their ranking would indicate.
Oh God, I would love to have an Iowa versus Georgia playoff game. That would be awesome. The final score 3-0, Georgia. Woo! That'd be great. I think Georgia's offense is better than
for sure.
Penn State's or Iowa's. All right, there you go. Penn State, Iowa. I bet Penn State knocks somebody else off. And I bet Penn State gets knocked off by somebody else. I wouldn't be surprised. And this is how I think it might go. I think Penn State might knock off Ohio State, and then you'll have Michigan knock off Penn State again, and then Michigan State's going to beat Michigan, and then Michigan might beat Ohio. That's what they're going to cannibalize each other. To the point that I was just sitting over there whomping on like Northwestern, beating the crap out of Northwestern and Minnesota, who can't beat Bowling Green, and Wisconsin, who's god awful. And I wonder who won the Brett Bielema Bowl. Oh my God, how am I so stupid?
Brett Bielema won.
Like Illinois beat Wisconsin?
Pretty sure he did.
Oh my God, Wisconsin is bad. They are bad football. That Brett Bielema Super Bowl. Oh my God, if we could have thrown Arkansas in there, had like a threesome going on, that would have been crazy.
I'm not wrong.
I forgot about that.
Right. Wisconsin blew them out.
Oh, they did?
Oh,
that's so sad.
It was 24-0.
That Brett Bielema. Oh God, that's terrible. Was it at Illinois or was that Wisconsin?
Shows how much I actually pay attention to this game. Let's see.
That's so sad.
Lucy ran for 145 yards. Yeah, that's nice.
Does he have white uniform on or a red one?
He has a white one. So
all right, there they were at Illinois. All right, Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. I can't believe that. That's shocking. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. The line is 1.5 -1.5. Oh my God, what am I doing? What did they win? Virginia Tech blows it at the end, and when Notre Dame wins 32-. Who started this game? Cone or Pine?
Cone started, and then he got benched for
somebody else, and then Pine came in.
Pine is technically the third string, so the second string came in.
What? Come on, put Pine in the football game.
Pine didn't play.
And the other guy came in. I think his last name starts with a B or something, like Brazovac or something, like Bababac or
he played better than Cone, I think, for the most part. He didn't play great. He threw some pick sixes. Virginia Tech blew this game. They should have won it. They were up by a touchdown like a minute ago or something like that. They blew it. Notre Dame got a last-minute field goal to win it, 32-29.
Hey, do you think old Virginia Tech's head coach is back on the hot seat?
No.
Not yet. Do you think that one win over North Carolina is going to save him? Or that win over West Virginia?
Right now, yeah. They lost. I mean, it was a close game against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's good. I think it keeps them in there.
I don't think Notre Dame's any good.
They're not good, but they're ranked. So.
Michigan and Nebraska. Shame.
Another blow. Nebraska blew it.
Hail to the victors. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, hail to the victors.
Nebraska also lost 32-29.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Same score. For blowing.
Same time, too. They were playing at night.
Yeah. Nebraska should have won this. Michigan, they didn't really look that great. They did enough to win the game. So I thought Michigan fighting hardballs keep going.
Yeah, good for Michigan. They did enough. This was an obvious trap spot for them. They handled it well. Good for Michigan. Good for them. I think Michigan's of old would have lost this game. So you have to look at it and said, hey, we actually won this game. Nebraska can't win a close game to save their lives. They have to either blow people out or get blowed out. There's no way. If it's a close game, you're losing. It's over. It's done. They just can't. Scott Frost can't win a football game. And I think I also think this is my Nebraska tangent. I do think that you can't fire Scott Frost at this point. You've got to keep him.
No,
and not be fired. I mean, the team.
Okay.
All right. Utah versus USC.
USC sucks.
Yeah, they're bad. They got to find a quarterback. This year's a loss for them. It's over.
It's over. Yeah. Utah crushed them 42-26. They need to get Jackson Dart healthy again. He was in practice last week, so need to get him healthy and get him back on the field.
You get Anakin Skywalker back in there fast.
Skywalker back.
That one guy's not good.
He's not good. He was a first rounder at the beginning of the season. Now he's undrafted.
Exactly.
USC is garbage this year.
All right. UMass versus. I was really upset. I hammered UConn here. I wanted UConn to win so bad. Freaking UMass won the football game. UConn must be bad, bro.
UConn must be the worst team.
How did they do that, man? Because UMass is bad.
UMass is bad.
Yeah.
And lost. UConn sucks.
I bet the UMass people rushed the field yesterday. Was it at UMass or UConn?
At UMass.
Oh, I bet they rushed the field. That's fun. They did?
UConn has a chance to win next week. They are the underdogs, as they should be, as they play Yale. They're the underdogs against Yale.
FCS Ivy League team? Jeez, that's bad. Ooh, Lord have mercy. That's bad. Hammer UConn. Hammer UConn. Hammer them. Hammer. Are they at home?
I think it's in UConn.
I wouldn't pay them a dime to come play me because you probably win. That's not fair. Not
they lost Holy Cross earlier this year, so.
Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Bad football team. Bad. All right. Last game of the slate, LSU at Kentucky. LSU, the real story is here. Kentucky crushed LSU 42-21. I watched the highlights of this game. LSU has quit. It's not if Coach O will be fired. The question now is when will Coach O be fired?
Yeah.
They are bad.
I think LSU gives him through the end of the season out of respect for winning the title a few years ago. But I mean, it's the team's given up. I think he's kind of given up. It's just over.
Sad. He's the he was the Gene Chizik of his time.
Yeah, it's true.
He couldn't get it done without
his quarterback.
It's a shame, I feel bad for LSU in a way.
Yeah.
I don't actually. I'm glad they lost. I'm glad he's failing. I'm not glad, but I'm not upset about it either. It's not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. Poor Ed. Poor Coach O.
Coach O.
I miss that voice. Wherever he goes, whatever he does. I'm going to Alabama. I'm gonna get fired. I'm going to Alabama to be part of the Nick Saban coaching tree. And then I can be added to the statistic of coaches that never beat Nick Saban or whatever.
I'm sure he'll do it.
Oh, I go to Alabama? Oh, yeah, I bet. He'll go somewhere weird. He might even come to Arkansas. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to Arkansas. You know, he was a coach at Arkansas years ago.
Coach Ole Miss?
No.
USC.
US,
Hey.
yeah.
He was the head coach at Ole Miss.
Oh, I know. For a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe 2.
God, shame. I'm a head coach at Ole Miss. I like being the Rebels. Me and the Rebels over here. Me and Lane Kiffin. And maybe he'll go back and be an assistant with Lane Kiffin again.
And maybe.
Yeah, that would work.
And
because, you know, once Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss this year for a better job, you think that'll happen?
No. There's not a job that's, I mean, the only job is USC.
Miami. I'm telling you, you bet, put money on it now. He's going to Miami. He's all about that ego, me, I.
He fits into Ole Miss.
He does. But he did lose some weight. So maybe he doesn't. I think Ole Miss is too small for him, though.
It's not.
Are you going to be able to get over that Alabama hump ever?
But, like, you also have to look at it.
Because, you know, it's the same thing I worry about with Arkansas. Because, you know, right now it's a dream season. A&M's what they are. LSU's blowing up. Mississippi State's always going to be bad. They just always will be bad. Ole Miss, you know, we lost to them. I mean, Arkansas is going to be 2 or 3 in the SEC West at the end of it, you know, which is good, and I'm thankful. But it's not always going to be like that. You know, you're going to have Auburn's going to have a resurgence. LSU will have a resurgence one day. A&M will go on a run like they did last year. You know, you're always going to have to compete with these guys. Jimbo's always going to be there. Nick's going to be there for at least 5 more years. You know what I mean? There's always Mike the Pirate in your own state.
You also have to look at it. I mean, SEC changed it. You're going to add Oklahoma, Texas.
And then you're going to have Lincoln Riley and then Steve Sarkisian to compete with.
Well,
and you're just some dumpy little school in Mississippi. You can say what you want about Arkansas, but at least we're the only guys on the block. You know, I don't know. I just don't think – I think his ego's too big.
I think he will go to a bigger school. I just don't think it's Miami.
Oh, it's Miami. It's beautiful babes down there.
I could see him going back to USC, but I don't think
cheating. Oof. I think Urban Meyer might go there. Did the Jaguars win today? Oh, well, he's going to USC. He's lost the team too. It's all over but the crying in Jacksonville. But
blown out by Tennessee.
They got blown out by Tennessee. What was the final score?
37-19.
Oh, good Lord. How many interceptions did what's his face throw?
I don't remember. I don't think he threw any, actually.
Oh, that's good. Good. Shout out Trevor Lawrence. Good Clemson football player. We miss him. All right, this is the end of the show. Ryan, any last thoughts?
No. Crazy.
Great week.
But, you know.
This is one of the best. This is probably, this is up there with a lot of the football weeks that I've been through in my time. I mean, this is one of the better football games, better football weeks that I've ever experienced.
It was one of the best.
I wish if Arkansas would have won, it would have been the best football week because it would have had everything in it. Oklahoma would have won, which is good for the pod. Arkansas was good for you. Arkansas would have won. South Carolina would have got blown out. Alabama would have got beat. Oh, my God. That would have been the perfect weekend. The perfect weekend. That second weekend was pretty good, though, when we beat Texas. So that was a good weekend. Clemson won. Oklahoma won. Arkansas won. That was a good one. All right. If that's it, that's it. God bless. Hope everybody has a good evening. We'll come back. We'll talk later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the TNR Sports Show. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the YouTube version of the TNR Sports Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tune in every Friday and Monday for a new episode of the TNR Sports Show. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out our other videos from the preseason or anything of that nature. And make sure you just share with your friends. I would really appreciate that as well. But again, thank you for watching the TNR Sports Show, Monday or Friday edition.